Pin. There we go. All right, it's happening. It's happening. Keeping the cap?
Hi,
Oh.
I'm Jonathan Rogers
Good point.
from Grinding Gear Gamers.
Oh.
And today we're here to showcase a new expansion for PoE 1.
I heard myself for a
It's certainly
second.
been too long since we had one of these. Now we had some struggles as a studio for a little while there. But we've got our shit together and we're back in action now.
Oh, my link isn't working.
Path
Okay.
of Exile Secrets of the Atlas is coming out 1 week from
I'll
now,
find
on
out
the 13th of
what's
June.
going on.
And we're committing right now to a 4-month cycle for both PoE 1 and 2. That means the next PoE 2 League will be in August, and the next PoE 1 League after that will be in October. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so you'll be able to
Ooh,
claim
we have
your Skull of
drops.
Undeath helmet skin by following the instructions below. This Skull of Undeath will track and show your total number of kills, deaths, and your KDR. Just because
Oh,
Path
is
of
it
Exile
below?
isn't a
Let me
first-person
okay.
shooter doesn't mean this isn't important.
Let me know if that's
Proudly or
better.
Shamefully, link it to your friends or in global chat to show it off. And with that, let's get to why you're here. Secrets of the Atlas.
New expansion.
Secrets of the Atlas.
You can search 1,000 worlds and still never truly discover who you are.
Still low.
Trust me. I should know. But now,
Let me know.
I seek
Let me know what that
something
is.
more tangible. Someone I care for, trapped within the Atlas. Reliving memories.
She has red hair.
made
They all have
real,
red hair.
What have you done?
It's my
made
family.
grotesque,
I mean, I wouldn't do that.
made foul. These manifestations must
Volume
be
is good now,
destroyed.
yeah?
Their threads must be eradicated. I must have answers.
I must have answers.
We must find the originator. We must save my sister.
This looks so cool. I love the little pedals. Secrets of the Atlas. New endgame mechanics. New pinnacle bosses. New crafting mechanics. A completed King's March. New crafts.
Come, child. Drink deep.
Betrayal rewards. And more, including
You're either a client
Mercenaries of Tharthus.
Target inside.
Job's done.
Secrets of the Atlas. Yeah.
Your sanity is not promised to you here.
Play free 1 p.m. June 13. PDT.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts.
That's next
Game
week.
Director on Path of Exile. As you just saw from the trailer, there's a lot to show you. Today, we will take you on a deep dive into the new Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas endgame update. Then, we'll explore the new Challenge League, the Mercenaries of Tharthus. After that, we'll cover the integration of gold into PoE 1 and how we're bringing Settlers of Kalgur into the core game. Finally, we have a much-awaited upgrade to Betrayal League
Surprised me that the
and a set
developer
of
PvP1
quality of
PvP2 at
life
the same time.
improvements.
Yeah.
Then,
GGG is taking
we'll wrap up
on
by
a
discussing
major
our Boss
task
Kill
doing
race
this.
event, showing you our new supporter packs, and
But look
ending
at
with a
this.
live Q&A session
is a lot of
where
stuff.
Ziggy D will ask Jonathan and I your questions from Twitch chat. In Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas, strange rifts have begun to appear across the Atlas. Zana has returned and appears to be trapped within. Partway through the endgame, you will meet Egan, an intelligent
The
man
pedals
with
reminds me of
mysterious heritage.
Gamage.
These tears in reality he has discovered are
I have
actually
been
threads
cursed.
of memory, distorted and made real by the Atlas. Egan is able to create a link to
Insane
these memory
jumping.
threads
It really
and open
is.
portals to
Like,
them.
I am genuinely
Working with
impressed
Egan,
that they're taking
you must
this
step
on.
through and find Zana, or whatever remains of her. Okay, so that's the story background, but how does this expansion actually work? In the Secrets of the Atlas, the pursuit of Zana with Egon is a new storyline that is introduced in high-tier maps. Upon meeting Egan and discovering the tier, he will then transfer it to your map device and reveal this on your atlas, a thread of memories. In order to now access each map on the thread, you simply need to talk to Egan when you're ready, and he'll open the areas in sequence. These areas can be fully influenced by your Atlas tree, scarabs, fragments, and everything of the sort. As you work your way along the thread, you will discover that these maps have manifested dangerous threats, influenced by the memories of Zana herself. Monsters here are imbued with memory petals. Defeat them to absorb this power, which can be unleashed as a special ability during combat. Different maps on the thread have different abilities, and these abilities appear on an additional mini skill bar next to your regular skills. For example, Memory of Disbelief will cause all affected monsters to stop dropping equipment items, meaning they can now only drop more valuable items, like currency and maps. Memory of Panic will make all affected monsters revive immediately after death, which means you can get twice as much experience and drops from them. And Memory of Impatience will cause all surrounding enemies to give you their souls, temporarily increasing your power. As you progress further into the thread of memories, the maps can have more than one memory, and thus you can have more than one powerful ability. As you gather memory petals, you can use these powers together. Each skill costs its own amount of memory petals. So using the examples above, you can first use Memory of Impatience to become way more powerful, then use Memory of Panic to prepare them to revive when they are slain, then use Memory of Disbelief to cause them to drop better, more valuable items.
Huge.
Finally, obliterate them all.
Whoa!
The Memory of Panic will kick
Someone
in,
just gifted
causing them to
100
revive,
subs to the Path of
and
Exile
then wipe
channel.
them out again, allowing you to get all the experience and
But this is
enhanced
what I meant with the
drops
rolling
twice.
thing. You guys sometimes say that you don't see
There are
it or
many
something?
combinations of these powers, so
It
you'll
looks
have
like
to
a-
carefully consider how they best work together.
Slots.
That's not the only extra layer of content juicing these maps offer. As you defeat the boss of each map along the thread, you are presented with an altar. This altar
means
will
everyone
apply
can
a
see that,
modifier
even
to
if you full
all
screen. That's
following maps
interesting.
in the thread, and these will stack as you go. So the deeper you delve into a memory, the more mods you will have. This, combined with the special abilities, will allow for some of the most juice maps ever run in Path of Exile. Let's take a look at some of the altar mods. You are always presented with two choices and must pick one. This mod, for example, will cause some rare monsters to be possessed by tormented spirits, where this mod makes Kerak modifiers free to craft. Both of these apply to all subsequent maps in the thread. The final map in each thread is a true challenge, with all the altar mods applying to it and guarded by a powerful boss. Each of these bosses are familiar, but dreamlike, drawn from Zana's memories and warped by the Atlas into something very different and terrifying.
Oh, so they
In
might
this
have
map,
like
you will
used
fight the pinnacle boss, Cirrus.
bosses that exist, but
Fueled by Zana's affectionate memories of him,
altered
his
them a little
enhanced
bit.
abilities can prove to be a unique challenge. If you manage to defeat Cirrus, or one of the other warped memory bosses, they will drop a map fragment, which Egan can use to delve deeper into the memory tears. With these, you can access a set of 3 new pinnacle bosses. In
Echo
this
of
arena, the
Loneliness.
moment of reverence, Zana is reliving a memory of her father, Valdo, giving a passionate speech in Oriath. The Atlas distorts this memory of her father as a powerful, influential man and manifests those emotions into a twisted nightmare, the incarnation of dread. Another memory created is the incarnation of neglect and the incarnation of fear. Good luck, exiles.
good luck, exiles.
Of course, if you are brave and strong enough to defeat them, each of these new pinnacle bosses have new unique items befitting them. If you slay the incarnation of fear, you might be lucky enough to find the Starcaller unique abyssal axe. We're gonna show this one because it's straight up badass. The Starcaller axe is a weapon that can harness the power of the stars themselves to deal immense damage. What makes it shine, however, is that on melee crit, it casts Starfall, a new skill. With the right build, you can carpet entire areas and wipe out
You have
screens of enemies
Starfall?
as you
Wait,
rain
that's
down the elements upon
crazy.
them. Another item you may find, and this one is my favorite, is the Wine of the Prophet unique flask.
A gold flask.
It consumes a lot of charges, but every time you use it, you draw a random divination card. This card appears above you and correlates to a powerful buff. If you draw the Escape card, you'll gain increased movement speed. Or maybe you'll draw the Doctor, which will cause you to gain the modifiers of slain rares you kill. Effectively, you can think of this unique as being many other uniques all in one. There are many,
because it
many
depends
cards
which
to
ones
draw,
you've slain. That's
each with
cool.
varying degrees of power to grant. Okay, but let's get back to the Atlas. After defeating all 3 new Pinnacle bosses, you'll be able to find new memory-influenced Tier 16 maps. These maps come with the previously mentioned special abilities and monsters infused with memory petals, but can also roll the same modifiers typically found on Tier 17 maps, making them far more rewarding. With all these new memory maps comes a new item mechanic. Items in these maps can drop with memory strands, and will have a random amount up to 100.
Oh, memory
This does
strand.
a few things. When you identify the item, it will increase the tiers of modifiers your item has. Generally speaking, the more memory strands, the better the item will be. On top of this, whenever you're crafting that item using currency orbs to replace or add modifiers, such as alterations, chaos, and so forth, it will consume some memory strands to make the crafted mods more powerful. The new Pinnacle bosses also drop new crafting currencies, which can be used to manipulate the amount of memory strands on an item. The Orb of Remembrance will let you add memory strands to any normal equipment. So if you have your perfect base to craft on, and it doesn't already have memory strands, you can add some before crafting it. The Orb of Unraveling will consume all remaining memory
I've
strands on
always
an
found the
item
Path
to
of
randomly
Exile
upgrade its
like
mod tiers.
loot system so
This
insane.
orb's
It's so
effectiveness is based on the number of memory strands it
creative.
consumes.
Like there's so many parts to it. It's
The
very
Orb of
complex
Intention
in
can be
a.
used on memory-influenced
very
maps to
satisfying
reduce
way.
item drops, but
You have an
improves the
item, you
chance
can
to
change it
find
in so
items
many
with memory
ways,
strands.
depending on what items you have.
In the process of adding these new currency items, we realized something was missing.
Oh,
The Shaper and the Elder did not have their own Exalted Orbs. This has now been rectified. Both bosses now have Exalted Orbs, which can add their influence to an item. Zana was there from the beginning, when the Shaper Pinnacle fight was first added. She helped defeat the Elder, and she was a critical part of the Conqueror's storyline. Now, with all 6 influence types having their own Exalted Orbs, the cycle is complete. It's
We need Annie's
almost as if we
wizard?
could
Oh, as
now
an
do
emo?
some sort of new, epic, unique item to interact with them. In other news, there of course has to be Atlas passive tree support for this new endgame content. Let's take a look at a few things we're adding. The Grasp the Past notable passive skill increases the chance for the amount of memory strands on items dropped in your memory influence maps to be lucky. This means it will roll the number of memory strands twice, keeping the highest value. By allocating traumatic experience, remembered kindness, or educated upbringing, you'll decrease the chance of finding memory threads that lead to specific bosses, meaning you'll have better chances at finding the memory threads you would like to run. This is especially useful if you want to target farm a specific boss because of its unique item drops. In sum, the secrets of the Atlas will have you questioning what is real as you attempt to free Zana from warped memories scattered throughout the Atlas. You'll fight new Guardian and Pinnacle bosses tormenting her, find crazy new Pinnacle uniques, combine and unleash memory petal-empowered skills, juice maps to new heights, and craft powerful new
he has
items.
little orbs flying around him. Do you see those? Orange and
While we were
green.
showing all the juicy rewards from the new endgame system, you might have noticed that a lot of gold was dropping. Let's talk about that. Gold was introduced during the Settlers of Kalgur expansion.
I remember.
It funded the development and operations of King's March, along with various new features such as the currency exchange, the black market, and the passive respec system with Faustus. Those features offered by Faustus will be here to stay. along with some of the other services Kingsmarch has to offer. We'll get more into that later, but don't worry, Kingsmarch has already been completed. There will be no more town building. Like before, gold will be used for town services, but we're also adding a new way to use it in the upcoming league. It's time to talk about Mercenaries of Trathus. In this league,
So
you
they
will
wanna
meet
keep the
veterans who have
gold
travelled
mechanic,
all the way
basically.
from the lawless cities of Trathus. They're ready to offer
Last
their
time played
sinister
Path of Exile
services,
1,
but not for free.
I think
You
whenever
will encounter
Settlers
these
came out,
mercenaries as you journey through Rayclast, one
I
in
think
each
that was
area.
when I played.
They have their own personalities and come with different builds, skills, and items already equipped. After meeting them, as per the Trathan Code, they will challenge you to a duel, a test of strength and conviction. Before beginning the duel, you will be offered an overview of the mercenary you've encountered. Here, you can see the gear they have equipped, the skills they employ, and any support effects augmenting those skills. You must now make a choice. You can hire their services, take one of their items, or exile them. If you choose to hire them, for a gold cost, they will accompany you as a skilled combatant to assist you in fighting monsters throughout Rayclast. Once you've decided, you can begin the duel. This is a great opportunity to test them, as you don't want to be out of pocket with a useless rookie. However, they're testing you too. They also don't want to be working for an amateur. So,
That's cute.
what items might they be using? Generally speaking, mercenary gear is more powerful than what you'd normally find from defeating monsters, as they've been crafting their items too. They can also come equipped with unique items, those that would make sense for the skills they are using. There are even some new unique items that can only be obtained from defeating them. One such unique is Scornflux. These boots combine agility with the mastery of the arcane. While equipped, increases to cast speed from Arcane Surge also apply to movement speed, which is worth noting is now 20% inherently from Arcane Surge, up from 10.
I last
They
played
also
July.
grant Arcane Surge
Oh.
when you use a movement skill.
Is that
This
when
allows
Settlers
for some
came
speedy
out?
spellcasters.
Does anyone have the date of the
Sometimes you
Settlers
may meet
expansion?
particularly infamous Trathan mercenaries, bearing the name of their house. These mercenaries descend from the 4 major death trade families in Trathus. They are less common, but have far better items.
Impressive
And
updating
they are
those games.
also the
Yeah,
sole
for sure.
source of items with new, infamous modifiers, unseen before in Rayclast, such as these gloves, which convert all of your minions' fire damage to chaos damage.
Oh, chaos
or this
damage
helmet,
is insane.
which causes nearby enemies to take more physical damage as you gain more fortification. If you're not swayed by any of their equipped gear, however, you can always challenge them for the contents of their pockets. If you lose the duel, don't worry. You don't need to give them an item. You aren't bound to Trathan tradition like they are. However, you are bound to Rayclast tradition.
July 26th?
So
Makes sense.
you'll just die.
Oh,
Well, not really.
that's rough.
While playing in a party, each player can decide whether or not they want to participate in combat against the mercenary. For each player that opts in, the mercenary gets more difficult. But if they're defeated,
Oh,
each player has a
scales.
50% chance to get a random reward, which is usually currency items from the mercenary's pouch.
Wait, if it's
Alternatively,
50%, is there a
party
chance for
members that
nobody to
opt
get a
out of
reward?
the fight can spectate and cheer you on. Or they might wish for your demise, so they can pick up that allocated divine waiting off screen.
Dead. Good.
Damage is pretty insane.
Let's say you won the duel, like their items, and have decided to hire them. What combat skills do they bring to the table? Each mercenary has an archetype. Here, this mercenary is an Eruptor, which perfectly couples with my slower, more aura-focused Scion. This mercenary is highly aggressive, and will get a lot of benefit from the auras and buffs I provided.
Okay.
When I'm playing a more aggressive character myself though, I'll want a mercenary with a bit more resilience and utility. I've just run into a Striker, who can spawn with Vigilant Strike,
Infamous Striker.
and if you're lucky, a very rare golden support that causes the Fortify granted by his Vigilant Strike to apply to me as well. He will also frequently use Enduring Cry, taunting enemies off of me, and operating as a tanky frontline while I blitz off damage from the back. Sometimes when you fight a mercenary, you may notice the skills they're using are different from normal. For example, this sniper is using a Trathan version of Siege Ballista. If you're lucky, you will be able to select it as your reward when challenging them. Then defeat them, and they'll drop the Trathan gem as promised. You can only have one mercenary accompanying you at a time,
We
but
need
up
to
to 3
continue the
total
campaign
in
of
your
getting Annie to
service.
play. Wait, play
The
what?
other 2 will wait patiently in town. Having varied options is useful, as there may be situations where you need specific backup, like a difficult boss
Oh,
fight.
FFX. Yeah, one day. One day
Any
for
of
sure.
your mercenaries you have active, or in your reserves, can have their equipment replaced with items of your choosing. They don't level up, so you will want to be looking out for more skilled and more powerful mercenaries as you advance through the campaign and endgame. If your mercenary falls in combat, you will need to return to town and spend some gold on healing supplies to get them back
the
on their
main gear
feet.
screen change? I don't think so. You
Then
mean this
perhaps consider giving them some upgrades.
one? I think it looks the same as
if you
usual.
think it's
But the other
deserved.
screen he has,
I just
I
wanted
don't
to
know if that was
clarify,
specific to this expansion or
mercenaries
something
do
else.
not lose their equipment when defeated. If your merc
I think
buddy
that's a special
consistently
screen.
fails you, you can just dismiss them and find a new, more resilient ally.
yeah, that's our allies actually. That's not even.
You want
Yeah,
your
that's
part,
not
I'll
our
walk
gear.
mine.
That's our allies' gear.
Earlier, I mentioned you could exile mercenaries. If you keep running into a
Mercenaries.
mercenary archetype and you think, man, this guy stinks, their gear is trash and they have no auras, you can then choose to exile them. If you win the duel, they'll be forced to leave with their tail between their legs, and you won't encounter that archetype again for a while. Now, alongside these new Trathan arrivals, we shouldn't forget about the recent Kalgurin ones too. As we mentioned earlier,
Settlers?
the Settlers update introduced gold-based respeccing of passive points. You can now do so by talking to a number of NPCs throughout Rayclast, starting with Bestil and Lionized Watch. Black market item gambling, previously just available in Kingsmarch, is now available in each town at the same NPC. This lets you buy randomly generated item bases for gold.
Cool.
Very useful if you're stuck for upgrades or searching for a specific unique.
Were they just
The
lucky
currency
to get a
exchange will be
unique?
returning too. Starting from Lionized Watch in Act 6, you'll be able to find Faustus, who can help facilitate these trades. Now, after almost a year of building, Johan is finally satisfied with the upgrades made to the town. And
A
now
year
its
since
services can be
Settlers,
used to their
almost.
full effect. Kingsmarch is going core, but there will be no more town building. As you start running maps in the endgame, you'll start to find different ore veins, which Kalgurin workers
Yeah,
can mine
basically,
for you.
I don't think they want you to be stuck
The
in the
shipping
previous
mechanic
expansion.
invites you to send these
So that's why
ores
you don't have to
and
do the
crops
settler stuff
to
anymore.
Karui and Kalgurin ports, and they'll return rewards in kind. By sending shipments, you'll receive different items, but by sending to Karui ports, you will also receive tattoos, which can be used on your passive tree to change what stats they grant. The Kalgurin ports will be sending back rune grafts, which is a new passive tree mechanic that replaces the runesmithing service previously offered by the town.
A rune craft.
These are similar to tattoos, but instead of replacing stat nodes, they replace a passive tree mastery node. For example, Runegraft of the Bound reduces bonuses gained from boots, but increases bonuses gained from gloves. Runegraft of the River has a chance to recover your life to full if you reach low life. And the Runegraft of Time, which has a chance for your cooldown skills to instantly recover from their cooldown, which I will note includes cooldowns on your triggers, just in case you wanted to trigger even more spells. There are many other Runegrafts which cover a wide range of different builds and stats. Some are more common and others rarer. You can only use one of a given type at a time, but you can use them on any mastery on your passive tree,
Falling.
which can be particularly useful for off-class investment. Isla has continued to make modifications to the Recombinator. She has developed a new method of recombination that you may recognize from Path of Exile 2.
Recombinator.
For those unfamiliar, this method
Path
allows
of
you to
Exile
decide
2.
which modifiers on the two input items you want to try merge together, and it has a success chance you can see. This method can result in the items being destroyed. However, it is a good option to use when trying to create items with fewer mods to use as crafting projects. Given the existing recombinating mechanic was very powerful for top-end crafting, we didn't want to remove it. We have kept it, and you can now choose to use it the old way or the new way. By letting fate decide, it will combine the two items randomly. There is no risk of destroying either item, but it will be less predictable. As Settlers is now a core mechanic, we've also added Atlas passive tree support. For example, if you wanted to gather more Verisium ore, you could take this notable. Each ore has a similar node. Refiner's Bargain converts items dropped by possessed monsters into thaumaturgic dust, sulfite into random ores, and life force into random crops. We've also added a set of Kalguran scarabs, so you can add more ore deposits, increase the rarity of monsters that guard ore deposits to at least magic, or gather smelted bars from ore you mark instead of ores. To sum it all up, Kingsmarch is now a thriving town where you can employ a swath of workers to collect resources, refine ores,
Ooh, was the secret thing PoE? Yes. So PoE
and run maps for you.
Showcase.
Send shipments of resources in exchange for tattoos and rune grafts, using those to modify your passive tree to an extent never seen before. Following on from that, we've also made a substantial rework to another important mechanic, Betrayal.
Betrayal.
As a refresher, and to explain to new players, let's briefly explain what Betrayal is. Betrayal is a mechanic introduced in Act 9 and tells the story of Jun Ortoy and her investigation of the Immortal Syndicate. This is a mysterious group of exiles who can seemingly come back from death. You must help Jun to uncover their leader, the Syndicate Mastermind. The Immortal Syndicate is organized into 4 divisions: Transportation, Fortification, Research, and Intervention. As you encounter the Immortal Syndicate members, you'll gain intelligence for each of these divisions to discover the location of their leaders, tracking them to their safe houses. Defeating the division leaders at their safe houses will reward you with intelligence on the Syndicate Mastermind. In your journey to track down the Syndicate leader, you'll manipulate the members of the Immortal Syndicate to change divisions, form friendships and rivalries, and even banish them from the Syndicate for a time. Historically, after encountering and defeating the Syndicate Mastermind, the state of the Immortal Syndicate would reset, requiring you to start from the beginning of the investigation again. This has always been a difficult decision for players and can often feel bad. Do you fight the Mastermind for a chance at the special loot, or keep farming the safe houses that you've spent so long setting up? Well, in the Secrets of the Atlas expansion, we've split out the Mastermind to be completely separate from the core mechanic. The boss is now accessible through a new fragment that has a chance to drop from the safe house leaders at high levels. The Mastermind no longer resets the state of the Immortal Syndicate. You can now build your betrayal board to your liking,
I saw some of them were green,
optimize
yellow,
it,
red.
do Mastermind fights, and reap the rewards without having to lose all your progress every time. The boss fight itself has also been improved, now with significantly fewer immunity phases and new rewards. By the way, if you're a new player to Path of Exile 1, don't worry about all this detail. This content is optional, and you can discover and engage with it at your own pace.
By the way, if this is too complicated...
The Mastermind still has a chance to drop a Veiled Orb, now renamed to Veiled Exalted Orb. Veiled Chaos Orbs are being re-added to other safe house leaders. In addition, the Mastermind now drops the new All Flame Embers. All Flame Embers are map fragments that replace monster packs in in-game maps with different types of special monsters. These packs have unusual properties, compositions, or rewards. For example, you might use the All Flame Ember of Kulamak, which replaces packs with Syndicate monsters and their leaders, who revive after the map boss has been slain.
Does my link work
This might at first sound annoying due to backtracking, but these monsters when revived are far more intense and rewarding.
Not sure why it doesn't work, but yeah.
It is our intention with All Flames to provide many different types that combine with other mechanics, multiplying with your existing modifiers in new and interesting ways.
So for now, it's just good to note.
Another good example of this is the All Flame Ember of Propagation. When slain, special rare monsters added by this All Flame here will spread their modifiers to other rare monsters in the map. This can be useful when trying to create singular, very powerful, and very rewarding monsters. Something akin to meat sacks, which are making a reinvented comeback with this update too. Another is the All-Flame Ember of Resplendence, which adds monsters that drop no items. But when you slay them, you get buff stacks of increased quantity and rarity to enhance the drops of all other monsters. All-Flame Embers can be placed in your map device like scarabs, and used in conjunction with scarabs to further customize your maps. We're looking forward to seeing which combinations players find to enhance their maps. Perhaps you'll use all scarabs,
Players are always
all
so
flames,
creative.
or maybe mix and match. It's up to you.
I think mix and match.
The Mastermind's unique items have also been improved. The veiled modifiers generated on these items are now from a custom pool exclusive to those uniques. Bitter Bind Point, for example, can now have various Spectre-specific outcomes, such as +1 additional Spectre. Aside from improved rewards from the Mastermind, all the Safehouse rewards have also been rebalanced. We've done a pass on the crafting sprees at the end of many Safehouses. For those who aren't aware how these crafting sprees work, well, it's simple. There's a crafting bench with an item in it, and a bunch of currency. There's a limited amount of time, and your only objective is to craft the best item possible before the time ends.
Look at her.
One of the problems that the crafting sprees have is that they often require you to have specific items on hand in order to best maximize your result. But how are you supposed to know that beforehand? In order to solve this, most of the crafting sprees now offer pre-generated items. This has also allowed us to add much more powerful crafting options in each spree. Let's take a look at a few examples. In this spree, a randomly generated amulet or ring will be waiting for you. Test your crafting skill or luck with this Reflecting Mist crafting spree, and see if you can create something worthy of Kalandra's praise.
Yeah, Maya was here for a few seconds.
And in this spree, you will find a pre-generated unique item, and a new kind of orb that resembles a Val orb, but not quite the same. Normally, you can only corrupt an item once, but uniques in this spree can be corrupted and re-corrupted as many times as there are orbs. This orb also allows you to get 2 corrupted implicits, and has a much lower chance to brick the item. It can be a very useful tool for seeking specific corrupted implicit outcomes. Of course, if you push your luck, you can still ruin the item. There are also crafting sprees where you still need to provide an item,
30 seconds.
but those items are generally more accessible and it occurs less frequently. This one allows you to bring your own normal rarity item, then just go ballistic with a whole ton of scouring orbs and orbs of chance, hoping to get your ideal unique. For most sprees, the rank of the Syndicate member increases the amount of currency provided, the quality of the pre-generated items, and the time allowed to craft your item. Aside from the crafting sprees, there are other new options too. If you love gambling for currency, how about you try opening Varici's Emperor's Luck chests? These work just like the Emperor's Luck divination card and provide full stacks of currency. If you're lucky enough, unlike me, you could end up with a whole lot of divines.
Unlike me.
Betrayal is a good source of veiled items. Veiled items have some important quality of life improvements in this expansion too. All of the crafting bench options normally granted by unveiling items are instead now moved to the core game, so you don't need to run Betrayal to unlock them. They are instead found at the entrances to boss rooms and in-game maps. On top of that, you no longer need to speak to Jun to unveil items. You can just right-click them, or the equivalent on gamepad, and select which veiled modifier you want to unveil. Overall, Betrayal is now much more streamlined and more rewarding. Happy interrogations.
Shut up! Ooh. Interrogations mean stabbing.
Now before we get into our quality of life additions, let's quickly talk about some character balance. We will be doing our regular character balance changes where we are bringing outliers in line to help evolve the meta, but we are also focusing our attention on buffing some specific things. This includes spellcasting supports that specifically enhance self-casting builds, channeled spells, adding new options to the Guardian, Berserker, Elementalist, Saboteur, and Champion Ascendancy classes, which includes some favorites from some of the alternate classes from Legacy of Fuchsia, and buffing a whole bunch of transfigured gems that never really hit the mark.
Oh,
Combined with the new in-game
Orange cat
crafting,
too.
improved
Yeah,
the
Luna,
trail
you're a bit
crafting
more
options,
pet
rune graphs for your
accepting, aren't
passive
you?
tree,
Yeah.
new pinnacle
Let's
unique
show Maya
items,
how this
new
goes,
modifiers
okay?
and Trathan gems from the mercenaries, and of course the
Yeah.
mercenaries themselves to act as an extension to your
This
character.
is how we accept
It's
petting.
safe to say there's a lot of new character options and builds to think about. Instead of delving into all of these in more detail, we figured we'd just let you absorb them through the patch notes so you can do it at your own pace. In the Secrets of the Atlas expansion, we've also added a lot of the quality of life features that we know you've all been asking for. A lot of these have already been posted, but let's take a look now in case you missed any. You can now pause the game at any time by pressing escape to open the menu, or by opening any full screen interface, like the passive tree. You'll also be
Wait.
paused if any lag is detected or if you disconnect. It's worth noting that in certain pinnacle arenas, a debuff will be applied to you that prevents you from pausing. We're also making a change to how you use currency items on strongboxes and monsters
That's
imprisoned in
crazy.
essences. Based on the currency in your inventory and the state of the strongbox, these buttons will appear. Valuable currency like divine orbs have been excluded from this as it would often be wasteful to use in this context. The same applies to essences with the remnant of corruption currency. Orbs of Horizon have been
That's
updated.
insane for
They
hardcore.
can now re-roll your Elder and Conqueror Guardian maps. Doing so will re-roll the base map and the Guardian of that map. The map device now has a small additional inventory. This is particularly useful if you're rolling many maps to run in sequence, or if you want to use varying amounts of scarabs or other map fragments. During breach encounters, all the splinters will be automatically collected and dropped
Are you
at the
gonna
end
play
of the
with me,
breach.
Luna? When the new expansion is
On
here?
gamepads, we have separated the targeting of monsters and non-monsters, so you are able to target them independently. This removes a bunch of frustration when you are trying to interact with objects in the world and monsters are nearby. You no longer have to kill all of them first. Vendor windows will now remember your last search. This is remembered until you log out and is remembered on a per NPC basis. The amount of characters you can type in the search field has also been increased.
Oh,
When using currency items,
250
after
character
right-clicking
limit.
them, it will highlight all other items which that currency can be used on.
oh.
There are
that
many
is
other
really
quality of life
nice.
improvements, so keep an eye on the patch notes
actually a lot
after
of
this
quality
live
of
stream
life stuff.
concludes. Alongside the launch of Secrets of the Atlas, we are hosting a competitive event where players will race to be
Ooh.
the first to kill the new pinnacle bosses. The event will take place in the hardcore, solo self-found Mercenaries of Trathis League. We have some interesting prizes in store for the winners. Keep an eye on the news in the lead up to launch for more details about how the event will work and what its prizes are. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new League supporter packs. Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs.
New supporter packs.
Frisian
By the way, for
Magistrate
those who don't
and
know,
Crypt Keeper
Path of
packs.
Exile is completely free
Each
to
tier
play.
contains the pack's full face value in
So
points,
the way that they
alongside
are
several exclusive
financing
microtransactions.
the development of it is with these
As
supporter
always,
packs.
the microtransactions
supporter
in these
packs
packs are
are
purely
always
cosmetic and do not
purely
affect your character's
cosmetic.
power or progression in any way.
Yeah.
The Frisian
It's
Magistrate
actually one
series
of
of
the most
supporter packs
legitimate
contains 6
free-to-play games
exclusive
out there.
microtransactions.
Where they
The
stuck
Frisian
to
Magistrate
just
character
cosmetics,
effect will
even though
bind
the
your
game has
character in
been,
thorny
out
vines
for
and
years. Very
roses.
popular for years.
You can select which parts of the character you want to have
There is
covered.
one thing you can buy, which
Either
is
your
technically
entire
a
body,
game-related thing,
your lower body,
which
or
is
your upper body.
more like bag
As you
bag
approach
slots at your
waypoints,
bank.
it will emit leaves and golden
so
petals
bank
towards
slots,
it.
not bag slots, but
When
bank
activating
slots.
the waypoint, it will create a burst
That
around
is the only thing. And
Envelop
those
your
are
weapon
often
in thorny
on
vines and
discount
golden flora with the Frisian Magistrate
and,
weapon effect.
Not very expensive.
Your weapon will also
Stash
create a
upgrades,
trail to
yeah.
match as you swing,
Oh,
and
she was there
even
for a
comes
bit.
with its own hit effect when slaying enemies. You are the law while wearing the armor of the powerful Frisian Grand
So
Magistrate.
yeah, you don't really need the stash upgrades, but that's like it is
The
an
Spider
option.
Blossom pet activates
So
its
instead,
defense
they
mechanism,
have these
disguising it as an elegant flower when near rare or
Which
unique
are
enemies.
visual.
The Frisian
cosmetic
Imperial
sets,
Magistrate back attachment
basically.
comes in 2 forms. Equip either the Tombstone variant, which will leave tombstones in your honor when you meet your demise,
Yeah,
or
so you have
equip
effects
the
like
Cape
that.
variant to cause the corpses of slain enemies to become enveloped in rose-thorn vines and blossom with golden flowers.
Blossom with golden flowers.
Keep track of how well or poorly, your ultimatums with the Trial Master have gone with the Trials of Chaos hideout decoration. It will keep track of the total number of waves completed, the total number of ultimatums succeeded, or even failed. On top of that, it will track the total number of times you've defeated the Trial Master himself. The Crypt Keeper Pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions. With the Crypt Keeper finisher effect, death itself will tear through into the realm of the living and steal the soul of slain unique enemies. The Crypt Keeper portal effect creates a gateway for lost souls to pass through.
That looks cool. Look at that.
Become the true master of the undead by wearing the hallowed Crypt Keeper armor set. It comes
Look
with a
at
more
those
armored helmet
fingers on the
variant
shoulder pads.
and a creepy mask with a spectral
Oh
hood.
my god, the mask. I missed those.
Looking
Look
to
at
have
those
some fun
teeth.
during idle time in your hideout? The Burrowing Bramble Bash hideout decoration will test your reaction speed as you try to whack as many Devourer heads as possible in the shortest time.
Whack-a-mole?
It also
No
comes with a
way. It's
scoreboard, so
minigame.
you can try to set new records to show off to your
Yes.
friends or just visitors coming to trade. Equip yourself with the
Wait.
Ghostly Dead as you ride the line between the living and the dead with the Sacred
wanna play
Crypt
that.
Keeper back attachment. The Sacred Archives map device resembles a magical library with the works of scholars that come to life when you open a map. This map device tracks how
Be
many
honest,
of
are these
each core
cosmetics
league you've
better than
completed
the
in in-game
baguettes?
maps.
The baguette wins everything, okay?
These packs are now available
put
for
a baguette
purchase
and that's
on
a full
both
outfit
PC
now.
and console, and will remain so during Path of Exile, Mercenaries of Trathus. Additionally, any microtransactions from the supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 2.
Ooh, no way.
Meanwhile, the Paladin and Penance packs
So the
leave
skins
the store
that they're
forever
now
at the
selling,
launch of the Mercenaries of
you
Trathus
get double
League.
value.
So now's your last chance to purchase them.
Because they work for Path of Exile 2 as
Additionally,
well.
the Dawn of the Hunt mystery box will be made available for Path of Exile 1. If you have already unlocked any microtransactions from this box in Path of Exile 2, you will of course immediately have access to them in Path of Exile 1. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post the full patch notes for Path of Exile, Secrets of the Atlas. With release at the end of next week, our community team will be
No.
information you'll need for the release. Keep an eye on the news.
Okay,
Thanks for
luckily
joining
that
us
only
today.
happened at the end and not during the show.
And checking out
No.
our latest developments. We're looking forward to dueling mercenaries, fighting new pinnacle bosses in
No! Twitch,
exploring the
please!
new crafting systems and character builds next week. We'll be
Crossplay cosmetic. Yeah, basically you get the cosmetics, they work
Begin
for
the
Path of
Q&A
Exile 1,
shortly,
then they work for
so
Path
please
of
get
Exile
your
2 as
questions
well.
ready.
It's not only me? Okay. Well, luckily that happened at the end and not like during the show. So that's good. All the Twitch is lag at the moment? Okay, well, honestly the timing is okay because I was planning to watch the main show, not the Q&A, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm really excited to hop into Path of Exile again. And as they said, was it 13th? They said? Was it 13th? 12th or 13th? Next week, we will be hopping into Path of Exile for this expansion, Secrets of the Atlas. And yeah, that is the plan next week. Unfortunate this
Had a
started...
big
Oh,
Path
there
of
we
Exile
go.
1 expansion.
Sure,
and,
for sure.
how did you guys feel
Frozen.
going into this?
Yeah,
and
it's
how
going to
do you
be a
feel like
game
you've been
session
able to
next
deliver?
week.
I mean-
Yeah, it's a little bit buggy for me. Maybe they have the same stream going on YouTube. It could be over there as well, so maybe you can watch it there. Or maybe just give it a minute. Sometimes Twitch has hiccups and then like it fixes